Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name's Savannah Rose and I make videos about how to live the life you want, starting with what you have right now. And recently I've been speaking from the perspective of having bipolar disorder, just because that's something that I'm personally working through. But today's video is actually going to be about how I took this whole COVID-19 quarantine situation and I decided to apply myself, finish writing, finish editing, and finish publishing my very first book, and here it is. I've been working on all the things I left unfinished for the past 2 years, and honestly, I'm just so incredibly excited to be sharing this with you guys. It's my first published work. It honestly is just like an edited diary. My heart and soul is in here, and I really gave it all I had. I went through a whole lot of stuff to get to the point where I could write and finish this book, and honestly, it made me grateful for everything that I've gone through. The past 3 years have not been easy. They've been very difficult. I've had to do a lot of growing up very fast. And this is why I dedicated this book to anybody who had to grow up too fast, anybody who has gone through inhumane heartbreak. And I can truly say that I didn't censor myself. I poured everything that I had into this book, and I'm really, really proud of how it came out. So go check out all the things I left unfinished down in the description below. I figured that I would just take this video to read the summary to you guys and to read off some of the things that I went through to get to the point of writing this book. I don't want to share too much just because I want you guys to read this for yourself and to take my writing as it is. I feel like it would just be a really good companion to the book to have a brief description of some of the things that I went through over the past few years. I have made some storytime videos about some of the things that I will mention, and I'll leave those down in the description below. But if you hear something that I haven't already made a video on, just leave a comment for me and let me know that you want to hear more, and I would love to tell you guys the whole story. Before I get into anything, I just want to say thank you so much to my friend Ariana, who actually designed the cover of this book for me on very short notice. Ariana is a really good friend of mine, and as you can see, she is super, super talented, so I will be leaving her Instagram down in the description below. Go check out what she's got on there. She's an extremely talented artist, and maybe if you're lucky, she'll do a commission for you as well. I also really quickly want to shout out my grandparents, my grandpa Sean and my grandma Jerry. In the process of writing and editing the final parts of this book where I say a lot of thank yous, they got left out, and that is in the process of finishing the writing and editing of this book, they did get left out of the thank you section in the back of the book, and I absolutely can't let that stand. My grandpa has done a lot for me. He worked on my car when I didn't have the money for a mechanic, and he was just always there to help me out with those kinds of things. He's hilarious. I know that he would have my back in a second if stuff ever hit the fan, so thank you so much, Grandpa Sean, for helping me out so much through the past several years and just always being there and being in my life. We didn't have much of a relationship actually until all this stuff started to happen, so I'm really genuinely grateful to have you, and I will be revising this book soon so that you guys have your place in here. And Grandma Jerry, you've always let me talk to you about literally anything that I'm going through. You've always just been there to be a shoulder to cry on or just an ear to listen and give advice, and you've never judged me. You've always just been there, and I really appreciate that of you. So thank you so much, Grandpa Sean and Grandma Jerry. I'm going to be editing this book and releasing a second edition that'll have more edits, more poems, and more thank yous. So thank you guys so much, and I'm so sorry that you got left out of this first edition. You were not meant to. So to kick things off, let's read the summary. All the Things I Left Unfinished is simply that. It's a collection of poems that were written during some of the hardest points in my life, events that I still haven't been able to process. This book was born from a place of raw, intense emotion, and so it was created to be exactly what it has become. With each piece, I tapped into the rawest forms of feeling that I had to face. If you want a sugarcoating, look somewhere else. This work is completely uncensored expression of a girl going through several forms of heartbreak, displacement, diagnoses, and facing the layers of her sexuality. I'm beyond proud to be sharing this with you as the first major project I have finished. Thank you for allowing me to tell my story. Woo! I can't believe I actually have this book. I'm so excited. So now you have a brief idea about some of the thoughts that I had writing this book. I want to share with you guys just some of the things that I went through that led up to this. So I figured that the best way to do this would be to kind of roughly read through some bullet points of things that I've gone through, because honestly, it's so much that if I tried to tell you guys everything, that it would just be too long of a video and it would take away from the book too much. So I just want to go over some spark notes of what to expect in the book and things that led up to all of these events. And I don't think I'm going to give you too many hints. I'm just going to read these bullet points. So the first of these many series of unfortunate events was my mom moving in 8th grade. In high school, I had an eating disorder. I got really close with my best friend, Kayleen. Tragic first love demise. Taken advantage of, hoe phase, eating disorder recovery. I met Benjamin, rock home best friend, are the 3 bullet point notes I wrote there. After high school, got kicked out, moved to Texas, was supposed to go to beauty school. Dad decided not to pay for it. Moved back to California, reunited with my family, babysat for my mom, became a stoner and alcoholic. Didn't work out, moved in with my dad across the street, that didn't work out, and he ended up moving to Texas right after my mom moved back to New York, so I lived out of my car from November 2018 to January 2019. At this point, I was undiagnosed, so I had a mania that lasted from that time to the point where I moved back to Texas. Met a guy during mania, polyamorous, rough waters with Ben and I. We made it through. Couch hopping and living out of my car, all while this is happening. Moved back to Texas to live with my aunt again. Things are mostly good until I crashed my first car and then buy a new car and then crashed that car and then I got disowned by my dad and then Ben moved here when he was supposed to move in there, and we ended up having to get an apartment last second. I get diagnosed with bipolar disorder, working 50 to 70 hours a week. Ben moves back to California, and then the end of the world happens. Like I said, let me know in the comments down below if you want to hear more about any of the things that I just listed off. I know that it's not a very formal way to share it, but I honestly feel like it'll just be so much more meaningful to the book if you just read it yourself. And like I said, if you want an individual story time about any of those events, then please let me know, because I would love to share. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Thank you so much for watching any of my videos. And if you do go check out my book, thank you so much for that. Again, I will leave it in the description below. All the Things I Left Unfinished by Savannah Rose. It should be the first thing that comes up when you type that in. And thank you so much to the first 15 people who bought a copy of the book. I have been spending the past week working like a mad woman on your paintings, and they're on their way. First 15 people that bought a copy of the book got a painted illustration from the book with a little quote from the poem on the back and a customized little thank you card for each one. So here are just some of the finished ones. I am so incredibly happy with how everything has come out. I'm so incredibly grateful to have gotten to this point, to be able to say that I published this book and to have so many people that are supporting me through this whole thing. Thank you guys so much. And on that note, I'm going to go reread this. Thank you guys again so much. Please leave comments down in the description below if you read the book and you have any questions, or if you want to hear some of the stories that I've mentioned before. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video, and subscribe if you like my content, if you like my vibe. And on that note, thank you guys so much again. Have a fantastic rest of your day, your week, your month, your existence, and I cannot wait to catch up with you guys soon. Thank you. Bye.